This is me, and this is Jeracraft. In case you don't know, Jeracraft is a Minecraft YouTuber, creator, builder, and all of these other things who has over 1.7 million subs on YouTube. 2 months ago, this absolute madman built the world's tallest tower in Minecraft, or so he claimed. You see, Jeracraft has this thing where he keeps topping himself to build the world's biggest and tallest tower possible, and with the new Minecraft updates increasing the world height, his new tower reaches from bedrock all the way to Y319, a total of 384 blocks tall. But there's just one problem. With the change in the world height, anyone can now change it again. If he wanted to, Jeracraft could have built a tower 500 blocks tall, 1,000. Technically, he could have gone all the way to 1,000,000 or more, but he didn't. This annoyed me through his entire video. I could not let this slide. Someone had to step up and show him. Now, Jeracraft didn't want just anyone to take his record away from him, but he opened the door to anyone crazy enough to try. So hello, I'm crazy enough to try. Before I start building this absolutely massive tower, I'm going to have to find a place to build it. I also need to figure out exactly how big this thing should be. So I loaded up a world with Terralith, and pretty quickly I found this mound already built into the ground. If I take the size of it to be the base of the tower, then that already sets the scale of the entire build. It's pretty much the perfect location. Not to mention all the villages around here that I can absolutely dwarf. But look at all these creatures around here. I'm going to have to steal their home. Let's get to work. I put down some placeholder blocks to get an idea of the size of the base of this tower, and already I feel so bad for these creatures. I mean, look over here. There's a family of bees, and I'm straight up taking their homeland. I'm gonna have to help them relocate. I can't kill them. But not yet. I have to build this giant tower. Already this thing is like 300 blocks tall. Yeah, we're already approaching the height of Jeracraft's tower, and we're barely a third of the way through ours. Quickly adding in the top of this part here, we're basically done with the base of the tower, except for that green cylinder down there. I have no idea what we're going to do with that, so we don't talk about it. I'm just going to shove that to the back of my mind and leave that for future me. But right now, our tower is looking good. So far, we're at 283 blocks wide and 305 blocks tall. Okay, before we continue, I do have to interrupt to clarify some rules. See, if anyone wants to build a tower taller than mine, first off, please do, and let me know because I want to see that. But second, it needs to conform to some requirements. First, it needs to be taller than it is wide with good proportions. That's pretty obvious. But second, it needs to be fully decorated with an exterior, interior, and way of getting in, out, and around the tower. I'm saying this to avoid someone just making a 10,000 block tall pillar. Hopefully that fixes that. And last, the build cannot be a repeated floor skyscraper thing where you build one or some rooms and stack it 1,000 times with world edit. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get back to it. Just look at how insane this build already is. It dwarfs everything, and it's just the base. But now it's time to start the body. Believe it or not, that pillar right there is still not the top of the tower. This thing's still going to be taller. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We're dwarfing Jeracraft's tower. Using the curve command from World Edit, I was able to get this really cool shape for the body of the tower, and I do have to admit, I feel like my building process is slightly weird, although maybe not. I build the shapes out of concrete, and only then do I decorate. It might be a normal thing to do, but I'm really not sure. I will be changing all those blocks soon, but for now, I want to add the topper to the tower. But first, come on, these poor bees, everyone. Look at them. They're trying to live their best life, but it must suck. They're so enclosed. I will relocate these bees outside, but I'm going to keep them as my pets for now, because they're so cute. I've got to come up with some names for them. I will eventually set them free. Eventually. Trust me. So for the top of the tower, of course I built the standard spiral thing that everyone puts at the top of their towers. How could I not? Something really does need to go inside it though, because right now it's really kind of boring. But with that being built, the entire structure is now actually complete. I'm at the point now where all I have to do is decorate. But something you haven't seen is that this thing so far has taken over a month to build, and I've been constantly crashing while getting this done. I've promised you all that I'm going to be making my Mario Mushroom Kingdom world, and I'm almost at the point where I want to quit this tower and just work on that. But I've sunk too much time into this. I can't quit now. I have to keep going. So, right now, I have to decorate this tower, because except for the base, this thing is completely undecorated, and I'm straight up violating my own second rule. You know how most towers have like a dragon hovering over them, and the block palette is kind of like evil dark blocks? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go for like an eagle, hawk, grand bird theme. So I took that idea and colored in almost the entire build. And I think that looks pretty cool. I added in a bunch of other decorations to quickly give the build some more life. And then it was time for the thing that had been the bane of my existence for the entire last month, the base of the tower. I haven't had any idea what to do for this part, but besides the interior of the tower, it's literally the only thing I have left to do. My procrastination to do this part is next level though. I made this wooden globe kit to avoid it, for goodness sake. I even procrastinated writing this section of the script. But when I actually started building this part, all I knew going in was that I wanted a big hole cut out of that green cylinder and replaced with a bunch of pillars, decorations, and big archways going into the actual inside of the tower. Actually, looking back at that, that's a half decent plan. But my execution at the start was bad. I attempted two completely different styles and both of them did not land. It wasn't until I added some decorations on the outside that I finally figured out a direction for the undercover part. So after finding that direction, I fixed up the pillars, made them nicer, added in some archways, paint, and some eagle decorations to keep with the theme, and then I made these broken bridges as a way of getting onto the tower. Then the bane of my existence was done and I'm so glad for it. Now all that's left to do is the interior of the tower. I think putting in that floor might have just killed two of my bees. I should probably relocate this guy now before he also dies. To everyone who's been waiting for me to relocate these bees, say hello to Barry the bee. Not Benson, just Barry. I'm gonna take this guy to probably the best place he could live, right next to the flower fields where he's got flowers galore. Barry, I know it's not the same, but here, have some friends. I'm sorry about your family. Please forgive me. Back to the interior. I really just wanted to get this done. I've been at this tower for nearly 2 months now, and it's like hundreds of blocks tall. There's no way I'm gonna be having like 300 floors to this thing. So I quickly put together these 5 floors. Each one's like 200 blocks tall. But now that that's done, there's just a couple things left to do. I said way early in this video that this top needed something else because right now it looks so boring. So I made this bird and I think it works pretty well. It just adds that little bit more. Then, just like Jeracraft, I had to put in a map. So I spent over 3 hours flying around the world making over 500 maps, just so this tower could have a big enough one that fits decently well in this massive room. Oh, and then I put in another big bird because why not? At over 1,000 blocks tall, absolutely dwarfing the previous record by a staggering 3 times over, I give you the new world's tallest Minecraft tower. Jeracraft beat that.